Hey, 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 welcome to another Valley Forged. Yep, I went and did it. Sometimes you just come up with crazy ideas, and that's what I love about lasers. You're just like, I came up with this crazy idea. I'm just going to make it. And today, I'm going to show you step by step how to make this 80s retro mixtape. It's a USB, little gift. But of course, you can make it into this plaque like I did for my brother. And super fun. And, it's a nice little gag gift for me. I did make it for Lightburn, but it does have the DXF and SVG. You may just have to play around with the lines and whatnot to make it right for your laser in that case. But for Lightburn, you're going to see, it has all the layers, everything's ready to go. And I'm going to take you step by step how to make this thing. First thing, of course, is you need a laser. Behind me, I have the Atom Stack Craft. That is what I use to make this 20 watts. So I can assure you that a 20 watt laser should be just fine for doing it. More power, sure. And I will have links in the description for everything that I talk about. So if I mention something, just look there, including the Atom Stack Craft. I usually have discount links for the stuff that I have. All right, so you got a laser. You probably wouldn't be watching this video. So the second thing is you, of course, need the file. So this is one of those things where probably having the file instead of making it yourself is going to be super useful. This thumbnail will change. I literally just put it up. It has the whole thing here. And I will just, the thumbnail will have my usual step-by-step video and whatever put on here. But you go and pick up this file. That would be the second thing. Download it. What I would do when you bring it into Lightburn or whatever program you have is immediately make a copy so that you can play around with a copy. And if you make a mistake or you delete something and you accidentally save it, well, you still got your other copy. You know what I mean? It's always a good idea. Then you feel like you can play because it's a laser. Come on, play. Make it your own. And then, of course, you're going to need the wood, right? So as everybody knows, I get my wood from Craft Closet. I have a discount link for that below. They have pretty much everything you need for your laser. So it's just nice to be able to have a one-stop shop to be able to get, my hardwood, my plywood, my colors, my everything, acrylics, whatnot. That's what you'll need. I'm using 3mm wood. You could use just about anything your imagination brings you to make different colors, patterns. This is a wood one, but it could be stripes. It could be whatever. And I'm looking forward, actually. I get a lot of reviews on my files, and I'm really looking forward to seeing some pictures of what you all do with this. Here, let me bring up some. I mean, I'm astonished, and I really, really, really love to see it. So next, testing. I mean, you got to test, make sure that the wood's cutting out whatever you're going to use, acrylic, wood, whatever. Make sure that it's cutting out correctly before you go and waste a bunch, right? So make sure your engraving settings are correct. Settings are on you, not on me. Every laser is different. Did you clean your lens? There's many. Do you have air? Many, many, many factors when it comes to lasers. So the settings that I have or for my laser, they're going to be different for yours. So just know that. Test. Make sure you got the right ones. So you need the wood. You're going to need a number 2 pencil. It's part of the gag. If you're going to make the whole, plaque and everything. If not, you don't need it. You will need the USB, link below, of course, for the ones that I used. Now, you can kind of redesign it and use kind of any USB you want to. If you want to use a USB, you can make it without, just as a gag gift for fun or display. But if you want to use a USB, I found the ones that they're the ones that go with the file. Also, I used a little metal tag. I'll put a link below for that. But I have the Craft, which has an IR. So it really, really does a nice job on that metal where you can actually really see it. A diode laser doesn't do as great in doing labels, and you may want to get, if you're going to get a tag, get something maybe anodized instead of just the metal. That will look 1,000 times better when it comes to a diode laser. If you have a fiber, or if you have the IR, like is in the Craft switches back and forth from diode to IR, so that's super cool. I wouldn't go out and buy an IR module just for doing one or two little things. If you know you want it, fine. But having the switchable is super, super cool. All right, so next thing we got to do is we got to cut out everything. Let's go over to the file. Okay, I put two different designs when it comes to the tape. There's this design, which it's up in the corner, and it comes with this when you buy the USB, and it can just hang, it can do whatever. And then the USB, it's a good and snug. You can pull it off, and then you've got that USB. Or as in here, I'll bring up a picture. The USB comes out of the bottom. And I just like the way that it didn't really show so much when you put it on the plaque. So I put it at the bottom and it sits there. It helps keep it secure. It looks good. And so there's the two different versions. So when you get it, it will look somewhat like this. You just turn on whichever layers that you want to do. So first thing I would do is I would cut these out. I guess it really doesn't matter, but you're going to be gluing these two together first anyway. So that's what I would do. I would go ahead and just cut these out and then glue them back to back. I actually found that using little clips to hold it together while gluing, I'll bring up a picture with that, actually worked better. So you can make sure that they are face to face. They don't, sometimes they like to move when I use a vise or something, or a bigger clamp. So having the little clips is super useful, super quick. After you cut that out, glue it together as it's drying. Then maybe you cut these out. Of course, you can stick in. You just go up here to the top and ungroup. If you try and click on the words here and everything comes up, just make sure that it's ungrouped. And then you can change this wording to whatever font and whatever thing you want and personalize it, because that's what lasers do. And, again, you can change also the font for the mixtape. You can change the words, change whatever you want. You will notice on this particular version, I have two different, these are not, all these lines aren't the same. You see, this is one color and this is a different color, so that you can have different depth of engraving. So it makes it different colors. So you can change that however you want. You'll see over at the right, when you click on it, the color will change. And you can, if you wanted to just play around and make all of these different colors, you could do whatever you want. That's lasers, right? So once you have cut out these, there's lines on the first thing you cut out here that show you exactly where they glue to. So easy enough. I tried to make things as easy as possible. And then of course you glue in the USB part. So once that's all glued together, I used Type Bond 2 wood glue. Works great on everything wood. I used super glue actually on the plastic to the wood for where the USB goes, but I'm sure there are many ways to do it. The cassette stand. Of course, you need a number 2 pencil, which will go here, and I think it should say number 2. I think that's just kind of part of the gag. This is what we had to use when we were in school to fill out the forms. Some of you may not know that. And conversely, you could actually just put some text in the square and uh, instead of having a tag or metal or anodized or anything, instead you could just literally print it onto the wood and you'd be done, right? So if that works better for you for your particular laser, you can just do that. The line here is just as a place you know where to put the tag, or you could use that as the background of whatever you write. This is the little graphic, just kind of the gag graphic. You could put whatever you want in here. I just thought this was perfect, and this will be cut out, and this will be cut out. This is the hole for where the USB at the bottom goes, and this is where the little tab to hold the cassette up goes. So it doesn't have to be perfect, this particular one. You know, a lot of times you're going to have to measure the height of this to make sure that it's exactly what your wood is. For this, it's not that. It can lean back a little bit. So it could be, you want it to be a little bit bigger, but I'm not exacting on this. Just make sure it's bigger than the width of your wood. And you know, this will cut out as well, and it will just sit in here. I just glued it down with some Titebond 2, and it worked great. So it wasn't not much to do there. And then I actually sanded. I put the pencil down where I knew it was going to be, and then I sanded where it was going to meet when I glued it, so that it would, you know, glue better. These lines here, this is just decoration. So you could actually change this. You could make it wider, thinner, whatever looks good to you. And this is the cut line. Now, this cut line, you will want to, after you cut everything out, you know, this is 3 millimeters. So I want to make it thicker, and I want to have something for all this to glue down to. So what you're going to do, I just erase this and then just choose the red and nothing else. You can erase this. And now you're just cutting out the outside, so you can make another one to glue it onto. And then what I also did is I cut out a piece of felt the same size and put that on the bottom. It just makes it look more professional, nicer, and you know, it sits real nice. So that's what I would do. You could pretty much do whatever layers or however you want to do it. That's how I did it. Then, of course, you're just going to glue it all together. So once it's all glued together and dried, then you'll put the tape on there, make sure everything fits right. Glue the pencil on. If you're going to put a tag here, or if you're going to, you know, you would have already engraved it if you were going to engrave something into it. And that's about it. From then on, and then you got to finish it, right? So I use lacquer myself, spray lacquer, but any kind of finish that you can get one from Home Depot, spray finish, whatever. Put some sort of finish on everything. Take your time. You're done. So you should have a nice, fun little project. It's not, you know, I went through all this, but it really doesn't take that long. A lot of it is just drying time for your glue is probably the longest time you're going to spend. So really pretty simple, easy project. And sometimes you just got to do it. I have no idea if anybody else in the world is ever going to want this project. It was just perfect for me and for my needs. And I thought I would pass it on. So again, if anybody else makes it, love to see your pictures on the reviews, and let me know how this went for you. If you have any problems, questions, whatever, leave it here in the video so everybody else can see it. If you have any problem with the file itself, well, you can send me a message on Etsy. And I hope you have as much fun with this as I did. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Love y'all.